For as long as the game of football has been around, concussions were always considered minor injuries. Players would get their bell rung, and as soon as they knew their name, the player was allowed back onto the field of play. But after suicides by former players and numerous studies, the NFL has been under a lot of scrutiny for not taking concussions seriously. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is in the middle of a huge dilemma by trying to incorporate safety into an inherently violent game. Goodell is also trying to win lawsuits put on by former players. Two main facts here from the NFL litigation. As far as of, as of December 20th, 2012, there were 4,042 named players plaintiffs in the 190 complaints, including the players' spouses, and there are more than 5,500 complaints total. In May, a group of lawyers decided to change the course, and they targeted several NFL teams. Basically, one case that in particular, Jimmy Giles versus the NFL, but he also put in the Buccaneers, the Lions, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Eagles, and the Titans in this particular case. Basically, some of the teams he played for, so he named the players, the teams different separately, along with the NFL to go after them. Now, the main cases for the 4,000 and 5,500 complainants are all lumped into one case, so that they can basically be tried at one time. In this case here, maybe the one that's separated by the teams will actually be lumped in as well. But at this point, they wanted to kind of steer their way. That way, they didn't have to, I guess you can say, necessarily share with the other 5,500 people. So I think that was kind of why that case is basically been they separated it that way. Now, the main arguments between the players and the NFL. The players' argument basis that the NFL actively tried to and did conceal the extent of concussions and brain trauma problem, and basically it was a risk to the plaintiffs and a risk to anyone else who played football. Now, the NFL argues that ex-players have no standing to file such suits because the injury issues were covered by collective bargaining agreements. So they have been actually actively trying to get these cases thrown out, and to so far to no avail that has happened. So someday these cases may still be tried. Now, the main focus of my story will be about the future NFL players and parents in high school. How do they feel about playing football these days and the possibility of suffering effects from concussions later in life for these young kids? So, because they also at a young age, still the body's still developing and all, it could actually have a huge effect on them in the future. Now, and also, are the parents afraid of what could happen, and are they encouraging the kids to play sports with less contact? Maybe playing more baseball or playing basketball. Those two sports do have some contact, but it's still not the same car wreck effect as much as football would is. Now, basically, what we're hoping that someday that we inform kids and all to prevent situations like this one in the future, where this team returned to football after too soon after concussion, and now he's in a wheelchair. And we're hoping that that never happens to any other another child in the future, or even an adult for that matter. Now, my main resources for this case of where I'm going to be getting some of my information and working on trying to interview people. One will be the blog NFLConcussionLitigation.com. Great source for anything that's happening with this case or any other case that's having to do with concussions. They even had cases such as about cheerleading. Yes, cheerleading, which is a possibility of that case will end up coming to light one day, or it may be more of an issue than people think. But anyway, NFL concussion litigation is one source, and I'm hoping to get a chance to maybe interview uh, the the main writer, the head, the owner of the company. sportslegacy.org, which was started by Chris Nowinski, who was a football player but also a former WWE wrestler years ago. Had a bright future career ahead of him, but ended up having to give that career up because of concussions. So he could no longer wrestle, and he all of a sudden vowed to his life and just vowed his main mission was to let people know about concussions and the effects of concussions. So he's basically been working with other doctors in the Sports Legacy Institute. He's written a book, also had movies. So I'm looking to interview. Maybe not necessarily him directly. I have spoke with his people who handle media situations and media inquiries, and they have agreed that if I have questions and everything, I can email them the questions and they'll work on answering them or bring us, or at least get someone who can answer them for me. So I will be asking some questions from them. Another person I will actually contact, and I'm hoping that he will answer. He has actually been very, very good in the past of answering questions for me. Is Greg Aiello, who's the PR person for the NFL, and I know that there are going to be some questions that they will not answer or may not say anything, but he has in the past. I think if I'm asking something that's not too sensitive, but can give him, that it doesn't pin them in a corner, I think I can get a decent little information from him. Maybe from part of the NFL side of the NFL concussion litigation, and even is there a worry from the NFL about some of the future players coming through that you may have actually a drop in talent because of concussion issues, where the more talented players may go to other sports than to play football because of what could happen. And then I'm also going to be looking for information from the CDC.gov on concussions. They have some great information that I'll be looking into and actually bringing out as well. And then we're also going to have interviews with some high school players, parents, also even school doctors and coaches. If any of you are watching this video, or if somebody who watches this knows someone who I could be interviewing, please put me in contact with them. I would love to speak to them and get them more information. Uh, my the main focus and the issue here is that we really want to see where the future football will go. Will where will the rules adjust in a sense? There have been some quite a few different new rule changes that have kind of been put on the table, but no one is voted one way or another that could change the game drastically to reduce basically reduce concussions and injuries. So we're going to be looking in the future of what's going to happen. Well, this is Greg Barber. Thank you for your time, and I'm signing out. And I can't wait to be able to get this report out to you. Thank you, and have a great day.